the edge of the baby's neck. So I'm just carefully going over, I'm not taking off too much, but just enough to start blending in the colors. Now I go to the father's neck, and I hit what is called the dodge tool. Now the dodge tool is along with the burn tool and the sponge tool. The dodge tool actually makes an area lighter, while the burn tool makes an area darker. So I go over with the dodge tool, and as you can see, it's starting to get lighter on the neck of the father. It's not perfect, but don't worry, we'll be getting there very shortly. That's almost too light. So what I do is I go down to Edit and Step Backwards. Step Backwards will take the steps I've just done for each click. It will delete those steps, then it basically restarts it at each step. Every time you click your mouse, it records what you have done. So now I'm going to try the burn tool. Now I've done the smudge, not the burn tool, I'm sorry, the smudge tool. And what the smudge tool does, it actually grabs the area which is selected, which is the baby's head, and slightly pulls it and blends it into the neck. Now what I've selected is called the blur tool. The blur tool is along with the smudge tool and the sharpen tool, but the blur tool just blurs out the area and makes it smooth. I'm just smoothing out the neck area. I hit the dodge tool, and I'm now going to lighten the area to blend it in with the baby's head that I've just dragged down. I don't want to take away too much from the effort, because otherwise it would look like the baby had an all-white chin. Well, that would get rid of the shading. So now what I'm doing is I'm just using the blur tool to blend it all in together. The blur tool will just blend the area that it's clicked on, while the smudge tool will actually pull the area and blend it on what it's clicked on. So now what I'm doing is I'm using the smudge tool just to bring down some of the colors. And now what I've selected is the burn tool to add a bit of shading underneath the baby's chin. I don't want the burn tool set too high, otherwise it'd make it too dark. Now what I am doing is I'm hitting the dodge tool and I'm putting it on the baby's chin, just so then we don't have that large dark spot that seems quite unrealistic on the angle of the chin. As I zoom out, I check my work, and if I see anything I don't like, I'll go back. But, as you can see, I do. So, what I am now doing is I'm making a copy of the head of the father that is over the baby. I'm going to move it down slightly, and I'm going to hit the dodge tool and go over the head. Now, in a little bit I'll show you what happens if you use the dodge tool too much on this. So I'm just adding some highlights on the father's head. I'm not going on the hair, or I should say I'm trying to avoid the hair. Otherwise the hair will become too light and almost white. So right now I'm about to show you how to ease up on the line that's connected to the neck. So I'm just slightly fading out the line using the eraser with the faded star tool. Next I hit blur tool to slightly blend it in. I'm still using blur tool. Moving to eraser to erase just a little teeny bit of the neck. And what I'm doing is called the burn tool. And I'm just adding a little bit of darkness to the back of the neck. This is what I said earlier with the example of what happens when you overdo the dodge tool. So I decided to rub it on the cheek to show you. It becomes almost too white, like Edward Cullen vampire. And that it's ugly, so I backstepped on it just slightly. Now what I'm hitting is called the adjustments. And I'm click hue and saturation. Now hue and saturation allows you to change the color of the skin, which I want at 0, the intensity of that color, which I want at 0, which is our current color, and the lightness and darkness. The darker you go, the more the image fades away into blackness. So what I want to do is I want to lighten the face, but not too much. So I'm going to turn up the lightness just slightly. I want to turn up the saturation just to see what it would look like. There's nothing, the saturation doesn't seem to be working very well, so I will not be using it. So both my hue and saturation are at 0, and I've decided to just work with the lightness, which I've turned up to +4. Now our picture is done. This is the best we can do if you are brand new to Photoshop. As you can see, we have replaced the faces of the father and the child. Thank you for watching this tutorial. I hope that you have learned something.
Just wasted 10 seconds of your